Alright, we got another Derek Michael video coming straight at you. I'm gonna rap a little bit, so you guys try to keep up. If you're familiar with the song, go fuck yourself. It's just the hood rap shit. Come on, this one Honda, Virginia, for Honda, Mercedes, Canvas, porcelain and babies. I love y'all rhymes. Can't you just hook them dimes? Can you get off with it? Can you rip it like you stole it? Can you kip it like you kick it, baby mama? I love my jams, and I love Portuguese cams. They go S to the LBOC to the LMNO BQRSTUVWXME, the motherfucker, Emmy, the Emmy, the Emmy, Emmy, the D. It's the project, bitch. Can we get hood rap, bitch? One that don't give a fuck. One that can suck and fuck. You get project bitches coming at you. They say, what do you do? I say we sue them hoes for every dime they knew. And then we'll take all that money and we'll make a whole manufacturing company. Will manufacture robotic whores. But don't tell my wife. She'd never approve. Programming like that would be Lucky's rhythm, but I wouldn't have anything to do with it. I could just tell you the idea, but I'm out. I have nothing to do with that. Getting it hard. Love that hoe. I love that show. And we're coming at you with the problems in democracy. Problems with democracy is originally the Republican Party was the men and the Democratic Party was the women. That's the God's honest truth. At least the Democratic Party was the kind of flamer like men. That's why I'm Republican till I fucking die. Can you hook it with three campers coming through and it's all good. Gotta get down with that old tribal shit. Yeah, you remember this? You gotta look at that like what you looking at. Catch me reading and doing shit like that. I'm G'd up like my past is no ass. It's an Afghan blanket. Anybody looking for any loose slippers? Got some fucking slippers at the garage sale. They look good on your wife. They got a little mold on them, but it's not that bad. It's all good. They look lucky to me. I'm telling you, they look lucky as hell. I'll do that to them. A gangster coming at you with a gangster tune. It's the roll of me and the roll of this tune. Give me a project, bitch. Give me a hood rap, bitch. One that don't give a fuck. One that can rustle cuck. Give me a project, bitch. Give me a hood rap, bitch. Give me the square fundamental value of pie in an old cup. I'll show you how we did it where I came from. I was Michael the Archangel. One that can suck and cluck. Sorry about that. Alright, on to the latest video. I guess if any of you guys have been watching my videos, I talk about Adam and Eve a lot. I talk about Lucifer. I'm sorry if this music bothers you. This is a good tune though, but I'm not going to rap. I had done slayed the last one. But a recent revelation I made about Lucifer and Eve in the garden is we all came from 8. We all came from 4 men and 4 females. But fundamentally, if we all came from that energy, we've all always existed. The bodies were created, but the souls weren't created. The souls were created in a splitting process, much minded to evolution. Now, Derek Michael the First, well, Derek Michael we'll call him, he split into 4 parts. He split into 4 suns, and he was left at the core as pure energy and dust. And over time, the 4 suns grouped very close to him. And they got very, very close to him and almost fell right back into the same singular-celled organism. But they didn't, because Mick and Derek fixed that. It would have happened if they wouldn't have, if it would have been Jazzy's way, it would have happened like that. But Derek and Mick, they fixed that with their ships. They basically moved A28. A28 is my star. It is the original. It's the original man. It's a used soul. Actually, it's a brand new soul. It's a brand new soul. My body is used because my body is Lucifer's old body. But what I was going to tell you guys was, I'll get to the... That's all in my book. But, well, not the first one. I'm actually on book number 4 now. I'm actually on book number 5 now. But I can't afford to keep releasing the books because it's $338 to publish each one. I don't know. Unless I can find some cheaper publishing, maybe I need to shop around. Maybe I'm getting gypped. But I like being able to type right into Amazon and that pull up on Amazon. So buy my book so that I can put the rest of the books up. It's really fucking funny. I don't want to make money, man. I don't want to make money off of you guys. I believe information should be freely given. So just buy it so I can keep publishing. I don't know. The whole thing's shady as hell. Like, they could be selling millions of copies of my book and I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even be the wiser. And of course they could get away with it. Why couldn't they get away with it? How would they ever get caught like that? I'm not saying that's what they're doing, but it makes me wonder about a lot of things. But basically, I was going to get to this. Adam and Eve in the garden, alright? Well, there were 8 of us, and I worked closely with my son Mick, and the father, he worked with the son too. See, I was a father, but there were 2 fathers in the beginning. This is confusing, but we could see, okay, we're basically all one, right? We're all of one consciousness. Imagine this giant celestial ball as an expanding ball in the universe that just expands outward forever. That was the idea. The idea was that we could create a celestial object that would expand into the universe forever. There would be no resistance in space because space is an artificial dimension that we created by collapsing my star on itself. But basically it fucked up because it all started to collapse back on itself. I blame Lucifer because Lucifer didn't want to work. If you don't want to work, you're definitely not going to expand into the universe. You're going to contract. And you can only contract so much, and then you're just junk scrap pile. The whole beautiful orchestra turned into a giant scrap pile before my eyes. So, Mick and I went around. He took the right side of the sun. I took the left side of the sun. And I created 12 worlds where the basic rules of creationism worked for us. You know, you had bring forth the fowl, bring forth the sea creature that hath life, bring forth the beast that moveth in the field. I did this 12 times. And then I got to my 13th. And I was a little nervous about the 13th one because that was Lucifer's star. And he saw me coming and he said, "Fuck you, you hamburgling son of a bitch." He calls me the Hamburglar. I don't know what I ever took from him. I never took anything from him. But he thinks I'm some kind of hamburgling thief. And I went to revive him because he had depleted all of his darkness by having anal sex with Eve. And when he had anal sex with Eve in the garden, and mind you, the creationalism happened after the evolutionary created world. The world was born of evolution once, and then creationalism wiped the face, put a new face on the world. So mind yourself that Lucifer is a product of evolution. I will give him that. And anyways, what happened was Adam and Eve were paired, and they were to be wed with each other. They were going to have the whole Derek Michael III and Miley Cyrus the first. They were going to have it all. All they had to do was wait. They just had to wait their turn. Eve was positive darkness in body, but she was filled with negative light, connected to Miley. Lucifer was negative light in body, but he was filled with positive darkness, and he was connected to me. When I saw that he had done that act in the garden, and he pushed all of his positive darkness into Eve, and she became a double-sided, she became 2 parts positive darkness, and he became 2 parts negative light. He drew back from Eve's evil, and he pushed into Eve the good. So, truly in the beginning, the serpent was good and evil. I'm good and evil. I hate to tell you this, but I'm not all good. I'm positive at my core, but Satan and Cain are both evil, and they're both parts of my personality. I basically imagine an atom. At the center, it's positive, and there's 2 negative protons revolving that atom, and they create the lines of flux that the negative protons create against the positive proton creates, well, just think about it. If it's negative and negative, that's 4 points, and then if it's 4 points on the positive, that's an 8-point conductive system. So it creates a channel of eight rivers. It feeds them. I feed the world life. But my brother Mick, my son Mick, he does it too. Except his body is 3 parts positive, and he's negative darkness. So he creates 4, 3, 12, 14. He creates a 14, a 1-4 split. Mick is the birth of the 1-4 split. Mick's soul is split all the time. But anyways, I was going to revive Lucifer. He had fallen, and I was going to give him a hand, you know, like we do for each other. And right before I touched him to revive him, I was going to touch him on the head and push some of my positive darkness into him. But at the a millisecond before it happened, I realized it was the trap. I realized I was about to get pushed out of my ship from behind by the other father. Because Lucifer offered him the big guy position. Why wouldn't he take it? I was the big guy. So I had and it was mostly my wife that people wanted, because she's the only one in the cosmos that doesn't have an asshole. So she's never had an asshole. I thought maybe I created her body, but I surely think that I did not. But the father pushed me, and Lucifer tripped me. Actually, the father tripped me, and Lucifer The Father pushed me, and Lucifer tripped me. And I fell into the darkness, the abyss. I lost my footing on cosmic guidelines. You know, imagine cosmic grid work. You know, imagine grid work. And you fall into the grid work. And you become jumbled code. I became this jumbled code. But eventually, my programming came back online as Lucky, an evolutionary wizard that has been with us through every point of evolution. I became Lucky. You know, if Lucifer wouldn't have done this to me, there wouldn't have been any Lucky. There would have been Derek Michael, the mean father, the mean dog I was. I was a very mean dog. My son Mick is a kind cat. He's the Lion of Judah. And I'm terribly sorry. Acid reflux. But yeah, Lucifer tricked me. I had a millisecond to think about it, and I said, you know, this is the way, because this is Miley's brother. If he's going to have a problem with me, the only way we're ever going to get along, the only way me and Miley are ever going to get along is if this guy sees eye to eye with me. You know, so I had to fall into his abyss and do his little dance to please the brother-in-law from hell. See, Miley is the equivalency of C52. C52 is Miley's star. It is 52 for... In Miley's star, there are 52 women. And her and Kay are the 51st and 52nd. Kay is the 51st woman. Miley is the 52nd. And they're a throne. It's just like the guys do. You know, girls are going to have a lot of... Women and girls are going to have a lot of fun, too. You know, with what we got going on. It's all about thrones and crowns. But I assure you, everybody has a throne and a crown. And it grows. It's not like you get stuck with this little-ass crown or this little-ass throne forever. Both your crown and your throne grow. But you never want them to get way out of balance because you'll explode. That's probably how I split into my 4 sons, as I threw myself out of whack. But my sons are great. My son... Derek Michael the First, he's deaf, but he's great. You know what I mean? He's happy. He's not... I mean, he can't find the right... He's having woman problems, but aren't we all? You know what I mean? Like, the right woman will blow your socks off eventually. That's what's going to happen. He's always going to be grabbing the ones that come off my mate, because those are the freshest. And... he will have his fill with them, and maybe one day one will really knock his socks off and he'll calm down again. I don't think it will happen, but it might. And Jazzy, he loves Eve. He wants to be with her. I mean, I shouldn't even laugh because Eve is Kay's little scientific progress. You see how this happened? I forgot to get back to this, but originally, when me and Mick developed the worlds in evolution, I dealt with the Adamites. Me and my sister dealt with the Adamites. And Miley and Mick dealt with the serpents. They were man. Miley and Mick were man and woman. And me and Eve were angel and angel. So we raised the Adamites. But the Adamites were raised from a being that had already existed. It's just the father was the first one into the mess. He was the father. I guess that's what he does. I was Derek Michaels III. I was the Word. I feel like the Father now. I'm what's left of the Father. But truly the Father is Derek Michael the First. And he went in to see what the problem was, and he got seduced by the devil. See, we watched our global construct, our celestial body. It was growing. It was growing. It was really happening. It looked like we were going to be able to move our power throne into the core of it and feed this everlasting orb that would just expand into space forever. We never thought that it would have to contract and expand. Why would it have to contract? Why would it ever have to stop? There's zero resistance in space. But I'll tell you, space got jealous. And I'll tell you something else about space. You may think that space is always black where you go, but I assure you most of the universe is well-lit space. Look into that night sky. Why do you think all those stars are that color? That's the exterior space. There's light space out there. And it's a scary area. It's Ix territory. It's my son's territory. He plays the game like nobody's business. I don't know if you've ever seen Men in Black, but you see Ick. If you encounter him, like, his game is serious. But when the Father went down, me and Mick decided to switch places because we didn't know what the hell was going on. We figured that they must have switched places, and that's what caused the deconstruct, as if they mixed places with each other. So I switched with Mick, and Mick switched with me, and I got a good look at Miley for once. That was pretty cool. And then I went to revive Lucifer, and she's probably the last thing I looked at before I tumbled. Well worth it, too. See, when I touched Lucifer, I was quantumly entangled with his mate, Eve. And she would eventually bring forth me as a man-child. But for a while, I walked the garden as an adult Cain. See, the first baby in recorded history was Jesus Christ. And I know you won't want to believe that, but that's the truth. Like, how do you think Adam and Eve were delivering babies? They weren't. Kids didn't come into the world that way. It wasn't meant to be that way. That was Mick's invention to gross out the devil. It's pretty funny, too. He stood up in his chair when he saw it. But, yeah, my book is really starting to come into its own. I'm on book 5, and it makes a lot more sense, a lot of the things in the book. I really want to publish more copies, so let's get this. I know all I need is $338, and I won't swindle that book money. Book money is book money. When that money comes in, I'm going to be putting that right towards publishing fees for the next book. I mean, there's more jazzy, there's more everything. I'm on book 5, and I'm right at Mount Zion, where the commandments were handed down to the angels. And again, I don't know if you remember this, but I am a human, which is a cross between an angel and a man. I predate angel and man. I'm the creator of angel and man. I know it sounds like, oh, yeah, he's big shot, right? I never asked to be me. I didn't ask to know this stuff. I have knowledge. People that have knowledge are very powerful. Knowledge is power in this world. Do not be deceived. Do not be confused. If you don't have knowledge, look to those that have knowledge about these things. I mean, most people like to hold up their Bible and say, you can't change a word in this. This is solid ironclad steel. It was written by man. It was written by men of the light at that. Originally, men were darkness in the beginning. So how the hell does your ironclad Bible tell you that you're supposed to stay in the light? What the fuck? Use your fucking heads. Like, think about it. Like, men were darkness in the beginning. And men that are negative light, they like to say, ooh, look at this bitch coming up. She's pretty sexy, isn't she? They're sickos. They're fucking nasty. I'm sorry, there's a little post-aggression there. I'm terribly sorry about that, but I've dealt with men of the light a little bit too much lately. And they're very hateful beings. Positive light, not so bad. Positive light is pretty cool. Those would be Derek Michael II's children. My children would be the negative light children, so they're my children, they're the little shits, actually. But, yeah, I wish Jazzy would have never tempted Eve into that sexual act, because we would have had it. I would have touched Miley, and the reaction would have sustained. But to tell you the truth, I would have blown up anyways. I mean, it was... Either way, it had to happen. I think that's why I dove into the trap, because it was like a solution. Because when I touched Miley, I was going to blow up. You cannot have crystal on crystal. And we were both crystal. So I was doomed for death. But when Jazzy tripped me and I fell into the garden, this fucking immaculate body came from nothing. Nothing. My body came from nothing. I mean nothing. I was pure energy. And then, boom, I materialized in a second. But I managed to hold on to my crystal legs, and I managed to hold on to my flesh torso, and my head is still crystal. I know this is really hard to believe if you're watching this, and it probably almost aggravates you and pisses you off to watch this, because you're like, how can a guy be so lucky? But, hey, I never asked to be me. If it wasn't for me, though, there wouldn't be any guys. Well, yeah, because if you think about it, originally we all came from 8. That's the construct that held. Those were 8 people that were hell-bent on getting the situation fixed. Those were 8 people that knew what they were doing. Even Derek Michael I had a living soul back then. He'll never have that again, I don't think, but he had it back then. He could always have it again one day. I don't know. He's a pretty illustrious being. Illustrious meaning, I don't know what he wants. I don't think he knows what he wants. But he holds the 12. See, he's a sphere held together by 12 points. I'm a sphere held together by 8 points. His sphere is stronger than mine because he's held together by 12 points. See, Mick is an oval held together by 7 points. But originally, we all came from 2. We all came from me and Miley. Miley split into... I don't know how she does it, but she split into 6 women. She split into 6 angels. I mean, 3 women. She split into 3 women and 3 angels. And I split into 2 men and 2 angels. Miley splits quicker than me because she leans more towards being pure energy. I know you're gonna have to get it out of your head too that the Miley Cyrus that you see on TV is not the one I'm after. The one I'm after is much older. She exists in the future. She exists in the new United States, and she's the president. My son Mick is the Secretary of Defense. Can you imagine Jesus being the Secretary of Defense? Jesus is a cop. He always has been a cop. He's the best cop on the force. Trying to think if I'm leaving anything out here with the revelations. I'll keep you guys posted on some of my major ideas. But if you can't get past the forbidden fruit being anal sex, you're going to have to pick up a different book because that's my book. I mean, obviously sex wasn't forbidden because Adam and Eve were able to have sex and make babies. This was an act that was forbidden. Forbidden. Why would you forbid sex? Why would you forbid grabbing fruit off of a tree and eating it? Why would you put something like that in the garden? It was a forbidden act, and it was a little dipping. It was ass dipping. It was dick and ass. It was dick and asshole. That's what it was. I mean, think about it. Use your fucking head. I mean, do I have extreme common sense, or am I just really fucking smart? I'm a biblical whiz because I wrote most of the Bible. The Old Testament leaves my mark. I walked this earth as Cain for a very long time before I made my move. But I never asked to be me. Our shows, we go single, full. Everybody, do your thing, every inch. No leather, compliments of Heather. Any dress, get show on. Get the motherfucking Rizzy roll on. Get a ounce, pay out. Get another fountain of Wayne coming at you with dirty hammers on their bicks. Motherfucker, she's a goodie sucker. Gotta the fuck hold on. Everybody get your really roll on. Everybody get your motherfucking roll on. What? Everybody get your roll on. Everybody get your motherfucking roll on. What? Everybody get your roll on. Everybody get your motherfucking mole on. What? Everybody get your mole on. Get your motherfucking mole on. Remember how we dug for the master? He said, tell me when you find it, I'll reward you. I guess we hit pay dirt a little early. I was one of the first ones to pull up a piece of hidden manna, popped it from my shovel, and ate it. TV, the tops, bustle, the lops. CMD, DLE, DADDY coming at you. It's in the fast line. Yeah, I'm your fucking daddy. I'm your motherfucking daddy. I'm the father, right? That's incorrect. I'm the word, but my body is the motherfucking father. Everybody get your motherfucking roll on. What? There were two fathers. There was a father of negative light and positive light. My brother Derek Michael the first. He's positive light in body. And I'm Derek Michael the third. And I'm negative light in body. Father Yahweh, they called him. He was split. Originally, he came from one. See, if you can look at me, you can see my layers. So at my core, I'm positive darkness. I always have been. On the outside of that, there's a candy coating of negative darkness. On the outside of that is negative light. And on the outside of that is positive light. And some of you see me as this positive light guy, which I hate to say it, like positive light isn't always the best looking, but it's all in context. I don't know how people see me. I'm a really good looking guy, but I was in these 4 layers, but now I am 5 parts. Now I have 2 layers of negative darkness over my layer of positive darkness. And then I have a layer of negative light and then a layer of positive light on top of that. So I'm 5 parts. My whole body is a trap. You need to understand that the father was a trap-setting lunatic. I mean, he was nuts. He thought everything was a trap because he knew Lucifer. And I don't even understand how Satan got such a bad rap in the Bible. Satan is part of my soul. I'm proud to have him with me. Satan never did anything to anybody. He hated fags because fags wanted, instead of expanding into the universe, the fags wanted to just stop. They just wanted to stop it where it would, before it capsized. They wanted to stop there. That's bullshit. You don't stop, you expand. So that's my thing against fags, is they wanted to live with, I want to live with Miley one day. We're going to live on the same star. I'm going to be Miley's car. One day, Miley is going to be in my driver's seat driving me. She's going to be driving me down the road. That's going to be crazy. I'm going to see her cherry butt and it's going to be awesome. I can't even believe I said that, but she doesn't have an asshole, so it's going to be really interesting seeing that. It will be arousing to have her drive me, is all I got to say. And I can also be a passenger in that car. There's no telling what I'll be able to do. If you like my videos, keep watching. It always changes up.